For me, what I wish, if I could go back, is I would have asked for help and I would have allowed help. I had way too much pride and fear. So I had too much pride in I'm going to do it my way because my kids don't get their strong will from nowhere, shockingly. Going back to what I said in the very beginning, like I always felt different. So I learned that other people's systems don't work for me. Like, to share a tiny little story, which is when my son was 4 months old, I was already struggling with the naps. He never napped. I was already like, what the heck is going on? I was already such a mess. And we got invited to a wedding, and we go to this wedding, and there were four families that all had babies at the time. And somebody was like, there's going to be a baby nurse at this wedding and they're going to watch the baby. And I remember thinking like, no, that's not possible. Like, this isn't going to work. It's just a disaster. Just to give you an idea of like how much I couldn't accept help. Like nobody could even watch my baby for 2 hours. But I looked at my husband. I was like, it's just me. I don't know what's my problem. Like, I'm sure it's going to be fine. I'm just going to get over myself. We're going to go. We go to this wedding, and God bless her, she's this amazing Hungarian baby nurse who had been doing it for 30 years. And everybody else hands them their baby and they're like, here's the baby, bye. And they all go off dancing. And I'm like, okay, here's the baby. So listen, after like this, you're going to have to crawl out in an army crawl. You know, I'm joking, but it was like basically that. And I'm giving her these like crazy instructions. And she's looking at me like I'm insane. And she's like, right, new mommy, like go have a nice time at the wedding. So she comes back to me about 20, 30 minutes later. And she's like, what did you say about the baby? And I'm like, oh no, what's happening? And so I come back and I try to get him back down. And then she comes back again another like few minutes later. She came to me 4 times in an hour. And about 60, 90 minutes later, she hands me the baby and she goes, you took the baby. I don't know. And so my joke is, you broke a baby nurse of 30 years in under 90 minutes. So here's the thing, like my kids don't follow the rules. I don't follow the rules. I didn't know to ask for help because rules had always let me down. The problem with that was that I learned to stop asking for help from systems because systems don't work for me. And I think that's actually, if you think about our children too, that's part of the reason it's like the strong will doesn't come from nowhere. It's actually accurate, is that you don't match the outside system and you learn that very young. And so I didn't trust that I could come to my own understanding, but also what I didn't know is I needed help to do that. I didn't know I needed community. I didn't know that there could be people I could find who would help me learn me. Not that I had to learn their system, but they would help me learn me. And I just want to say to all of you who may be neurodivergent or have kids who are neurodivergent, have someone you love who's neurodivergent, fitting them into other rules, other systems is deeply damaging. But learning to understand how they do work and helping people rise up to their best version, because I don't believe a diagnosis should ever be a ceiling. It's not a limitation, but it may define your how. How are you going to get there? And I didn't understand all of this. So if I could go back and understand all that and find the right people I could trust to get help from, oh, would that have made a difference? Wow.